It's preview time. Win totals. In this one, I guess point totals. Over-unders to preview the National Hockey League. We start today in the Eastern Conference. We start today in the Atlantic Division. The Boston Bruins coming in. These are in no order whatsoever. Quite honestly, they're in the order that the teams pop up on when you hover over NHL on the Athletic. The Baltimore Bruins. Holy crap. Boston Bruins at 96.5. They have a bit of a tricky start to the season as Taylor Hall's dealing with some injuries. Brad Marchand is out for a little bit. We thought this was going to be an offseason of change in Boston, but the more things stay, the more things change, the more they stay the same. As Patrice Bergeron is back, David Krejci is also back. I know for a couple of years I have been predicting doom and gloom for the Boston Bruins. So once again, I am predicting doom and gloom for the Boston Bruins. I like how they freshen up that top line with DeBrusk going up there, kind of spread it out a little bit. This team is fine for me. They're not great. I think 96.5 is a little bit high. I am going under 96.5 for that. I think this team is okay. I think on the blue line, they're fine. I think at forward, they're fine. I think between the pipes, they're fine. You know, like Bergeron is obviously excellent. First ballot Hall of Famer, blah, 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 blah. Same with Pastrnak, although I do think Pasternak's falling off a little bit. Hall already banged up. Marchand already banged up. The one reason I don't think they get to 96.5 is because they're two of their top six just aren't going to play for the first few weeks of the regular season. For Marchand, it's into November, maybe even December. So I don't know if they are able to. They probably scratch and claw their way into the playoffs. But I think it's a lot like last year, where it's just kind of they're there. And that's kind of what Boston is for me. Boston just kind of there. Montreal's point total comes in at 73.5. Obviously, this is the start of a new era for Montreal, as there are concerns that Carey Price may never play the sport of hockey again, at least at a competitive National Hockey League level. You also have, again, no Shea Weber. PK Subban retired this offseason, showing that time continues to drag on and is undefeated. Gooley's making the roster to start the season. Slafkovsky is making the roster to start the season. I'll be interested to watch Montreal this year. They might be one of the teams I play with on NHL 23 because I like a lot of the young pieces on this team. But this is not a good hockey team. This is this is the foundation of a good hockey team. Absolutely, it's there. Caulfield, Suzuki. I like Dvorak. I still think there's something there with Dak and Dadonov. Gallagher is kind of fallen off a touch. I'm not a fan of what they have on the blue line, and in goal, I think it's a very big problem. Which, I mean, when you lose a generational goalie, you tend to have those problems. So 73.5 seems like a perfectly fine win total. There's a lot of these where Vegas, I think, kind of nailed. I think this division's really good, so I think Montreal is going to be stuck playing some teams that are just better than them on a nightly basis. I'm going to go a touch under on Montreal, although that wouldn't be one I'd be putting any money on. Tampa Bay at 103.5. Once again, they lose some players. This time it is Palat making his way out of town. McDonough is also done. They have late news with the roster, with Ian Cole being accused of grooming and sexual assault. And so he's suspended for the next long time, maybe ever. This is still a very good team. They still have, I think, the one or two best goalie in the world. If the aliens came down and we had Space Jam, the hockey version, I would want Vasilevsky playing for the freedom of this ever-crumbling planet. But this doesn't look like an 100-point roster to me. You know, it doesn't. Like, Stamkos, Point, and Kucherov might still be the best line in the NHL. And then Killorn, Cirelli, and Hagel as your second line is good. Nemestikov, Colton, and Paul as your third line, it's good. I don't care for the fourth line, but those guys work in the way that Tampa Bay needs them to work. And then on the blue line, your top four is Hedman, Foote, Sergachev, and Cernak. So this is still a very good team. It's still a really, really good hockey team. 103 is just so spot on, because I think this team finishes right around 100. I'm going to go a touch under on Tampa Bay. I also feel like they've played a lot of hockey over the last little while, and I wonder if this is the year where it dips a touch. The Toronto Maple Leafs come in with a total of 108 and a half. Once again, an extremely disappointing year for or close to the year anyway, for the Toronto Maple Leafs. after the disappointment of Game 7, of course. This Toronto team, again, like, they don't go out and make a whole lot of improvements to this team. In fact, I think they're kind of worse than the team was a season ago. I feel weird because I'm taking just under all over the place. But I think this, I hate the goaltending situation in Toronto. Hate the goalie situation. If it works out, I want nothing more than for Matt Murray to be the goalie that we thought he was when it was so clear and obvious that Pittsburgh should keep him over sending over Marc-Andre Fleury and sending Fleury to the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't think that guy's there anymore. So I am also going to go under 108.5 on Toronto. Florida at 105 points. They obviously make the big move, acquiring Matthew Tkachuk, sending Jonathan Huberdeau out the door along with Mackenzie Weegar. They acquired Sam Bennett a bit ago, so this is a team that'll be familiar to Flames fans. This is still a pretty good team. This is still a really good team. I think they have a tremendous goaltending tandem. The playoffs, I think, last year kind of clouding how we think this team is. I don't love the bottom two lines for this team. Their bottom six is just a little underwhelming for me. And the blue line as well, I don't love. With, like, Ekblad's really good, but I think no Weegar there really thinned this blue line out a little bit too much. I think goaltending-wise, they're going to be able to take a bit of a step here this year, but I don't love this team either. And 105 points is kind of a lot. God, I hate that I'm going under on all these, but I'm going to go under on Florida. I know with some of these I'm going to be wrong, but I'm going to go under there on Florida. Detroit at 84.5. Their big move in the offseason. They made a few of them, actually. They, I think, solidified their situation between the pipes. I still think this team is maybe a couple of top six forwards away from really making some noise. But overall, I like how this group is situated. I don't think they're a playoff team, but maybe I'm just feeling the pressure of 5 unders in a row to start this thing. I'll go over 84.5 on Detroit. Moving over to Buffalo, not going to have to spend a whole lot of time on this Buffalo Sabres team. They are quite bad, and I think 77.5 points is maybe a little bit more than they should be put at. This one is a lock at under for me. The Ottawa Senators making a couple of big moves in the offseason as they acquire Giroux and DeBrincat. They have a very good top six. They have a pretty good blue line, and they have an okay situation between the pipes. This was a lock of an over at 86.5 for me before Talbot went down. I am concerned about the injuries to Cam Talbot. He's going to be out a bit to start this season, and that worries me a little bit more. I kind of have to go over because I went really under heavy throughout the rest of this division. I do like a lot of what Ottawa's done. I will go over, but I don't feel comfortable about it. Moving into the Metropolitan Division, the Columbus Blue Jackets, they did a thing, acquiring Johnny Gaudreau this offseason, pairing him with Jenner and Laine. I like the top six of this team quite a bit. I don't love the blue line, and I think the goaltending situation is just okay, but 80.5, this is definitely a 500 hockey team, so I'm going to go over on Columbus. Washington at 95.5 points. Again, this team doesn't make any huge moves this offseason, really. They are just, once again, a solid hockey team. I don't think this team has what it takes to make a run in the Stanley Cup playoffs anymore, but this is still going to be a good regular season team. I am going to go over. New Jersey making a move, bringing in Palat. They also bring Vanacek in to kind of solidify what they are doing between the pipes. I like this team quite a bit, actually. I think I'm going to go over with Jersey, so I'm making up for the unders in the Eastern Conference here. I'm going to go over on Jersey. I think they have a sneaky good top six, just sneaky good forward depth in general. They're strong down the middle. I like what they are doing. Philadelphia might end up being one of the worst teams in the league this year. I think anyone who does anything of note for Philadelphia could get traded. I think this is going to be an incredibly frustrating season for John Tortorella. Quite frankly, I don't know why he took this job, and I don't know why Philadelphia offered it to him. They are going to be bad for a bit. I'm going to go under 73.5 on Philadelphia. We're kind of racing through some of these now. Carolina at 102.5. They go out and acquire Pacioretty for basically nothing. They go out and acquire Burns for basically nothing. They lose Tony DeAngelo, so this team is once again likable. That's lovely. This is a stupid good hockey team. I love what Carolina has put together. I am going to hammer the over at 102.5. I think this might be the top team in the Western Conference. The Islanders, their total sits at 91.5. That doesn't compute for me. I don't think they really improved on last year's team. I think that after a couple of great years under Trotz, things have kind of leveled out here with the Islanders. This one's an easy under for me. I am not really buying what the Islanders are selling. Pittsburgh, they bring the band back together. Malkin is back. Letang is back. You have a top six of Gensel, Crosby, Rust, Zucker, Malkin, Raquel. You have Carter, McGinn, and Kapanen as your third line. Dumoulin and Letang, on the point that they had Petrie. Jari and DeSmith concern me a little bit. 101.5, like that's basically where they finished last season at. I just think there are more improved teams in the East this year. I'm going to go a touch under for Pittsburgh, but I do like the Penguins. The Rangers at 99.5. They don't go out and make a huge, big splash this year, but I don't know if they had to. I think just another year of development for Kakko and Lafreniere and Hedl. Another year in his prime with Zibanejad and Panarin and Fox and the best goalie group in the National Hockey League. I like the Rangers here. I like the over for the Rangers at 99.5. So that is your Eastern Conference preview. We'll get into how it all breaks down with postseason seedings and everything when we do our West preview and then our Stanley Cup playoff preview tomorrow. That's going to do it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, rate, review, subscribe wherever possible. Shout out to Clearwater Cleaning Solutions, your one-stop commercial and residential cleaning company based out of Calgary with a fantastic team ready to make your life simpler and easier by fulfilling all of your cleaning needs. Check them out online, clearwatercleaningsolutions.com. You can find me on social media, Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Primetime Klein, twitch.tv/primetimepk, and you can email the show, couchpotatodiary@yahoo.com. Western Conference preview coming out tomorrow. Talk to y'all later. I'm out.